I still remember the exact moment my world shifted. Not with a shout. Not with a fight. It happened with one single sentence from my mother-in-law, said so casually over tea that it almost sounded normal. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Thank you for your salary this month, dear. It helped us a lot." For a second I thought I misheard her. My salary. Helping them. I smiled politely, the way I was trained to do in that house, but inside my heart skipped a beat. My mind started running. My salary went to her. When? How? Why didn't I know? I looked at my husband. He avoided my eyes. He sipped his tea slowly, pretending nothing was wrong, as if this was just another Sunday with his parents. My mind kept repeating the same words. What does she mean my salary helped them? I hadn't seen my bank notification for my wage that month, but I thought maybe the app was delayed or I just missed it. I was busy with work, with house chores, with his endless demands. I didn't pay attention. That was my mistake. So I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. My salary. What do you mean, Mom? She smiled. That cold, polite smile I knew too well. Didn't he tell you? She replied, nodding toward my husband. He brought the money yesterday. You are a smart girl, you understand. Family comes first. We needed help. Family. They always used that word like a weapon. I turned to my husband. He still wouldn't look at me. His jaw tightened. His shoulders stiffened. He was exposed and he knew it. You took my salary, I said quietly. Without asking me. He finally looked at me with that familiar mix of arrogance and fake innocence. We're married, he said. Your money is my money. And my mother needed it. Why are you making a big deal? The room fell silent. His mother put her cup down and raised her chin. If you are going to act like this over money, she said, maybe you're not ready to be a wife. The words pierced me, but I stayed quiet. Not because I agreed with her, but because something inside me shifted in that exact moment. I realized I was not seen as a partner. I was seen as a wallet, a worker, tool. He had handed my entire salary to his mother, and no one had even thought to inform me. That was the day my heart broke in a new way. But it was also the day something else woke up inside me. I didn't know it yet, but this was the beginning of the end of their plan. Because someone far stronger than me was about to step in. My dad. Before everything exploded, my life looked normal from the outside. We had been married for 3 years. Everyone said we were a good couple. Nice apartments, stable jobs, polite smiles and family photos. I worked full-time in an office, doing administrative work. Nothing fancy, but I was proud of what I earned. I didn't come from a rich family. My parents had built their lives with their own hands. They taught me that money is not everything, but respect is. My husband, on the other hand, grew up in a different environment. His mother was used to controlling everything. His clothes, his food, his thoughts, his relationships. Even when we got married, I could feel her shadow in every decision we made. First, I tried to be understanding. She's just protective, he would say. She loves me too much. Meanwhile, she wouldn't stop making comments. You should give him your card. Men handle finances better. A good wife doesn't question where the money goes. Your family is too independent. They don't know how real families work. Real families. In her mind, real meant the son belongs to the mother. The daughter-in-law belongs to the kitchen. The money belongs to them. For the first 2 years I handled my own salary. I helped with rent, groceries, small trips. I wasn't selfish. I believed in sharing. But slowly my husband started to push. Let's use your account for a while, he suggested one day. My card is blocked, salary delay. Another time. I'll withdraw for you, don't worry. You're tired from work, I'll take care of it. At first I didn't suspect much. I saw it as help. I thought that's what husbands do. They support. But gradually I noticed a pattern. Every time his mother mentioned money problems, my husband would solve them. He would come home late, smiling in a strange way. We would suddenly be short on rent. He always had an explanation. Unexpected expenses. Car service. Friend debt. Nothing ever added up. I started to check my account more often, and that's when I realized the withdrawals didn't match what we spent together. Some amounts were just gone. When I asked him, he reacted like I was accusing him of a crime. "Why don't you trust me?" he snapped. "You sound like your father." He never trusted anyone. That line hurt. My dad had warned me before the wedding. "Be careful with this boy," he had said gently. "He loves his mother more than his own future." I didn't listen. I thought my dad was overprotective. I believed that love could fix things. But love alone is not enough to protect you from people who see your kindness as weakness. Still, I didn't tell my parents what was happening. I was embarrassed. I kept thinking it would get better. That he would grow up. That his mother would get used to our marriage and stop interfering. I was wrong. That one sentence at the tea table, "Thank you for your salary this month, dear," was the final proof that this wasn't confusion or cultural difference. It was a plan, and I was their main resource. That evening, when we got home from his parents' place, I finally broke the silence. The door closed. The apartment felt smaller than usual. I took off my shoes slowly, my mind still replaying every word. My chest was tight. My hands were shaking a little, but my voice was calm. "Did you give my entire salary to your mother?" Yes. He was scrolling on his phone. He didn't even look at me at first. "Yes," he replied. Just like that. No guilt. No apology. Took a breath. "Why?" He sighed like I was bothering him with some unimportant detail. "Because she needed it. There were some medical costs, house bills. You know she doesn't have anyone else. I'm her only son. You should understand." "I should understand," I repeated slowly. "Understand that you took my money without asking me? That you didn't even tell me before, during, or after?" He finally looked up. "We are a family," he said coldly. "Why are you separating your money, and my family? You sound selfish." Selfish. That word hit me so hard I almost laughed. "I go to work early every morning," I said quietly. "I come home tired and still cook, clean, do laundry. And somehow I'm the selfish one." He rolled his eyes. "Oh, please don't start the drama. My mom raised me alone. She's old. She sacrificed her life for me. You can't compare yourself to her." I stared at him in disbelief. "I'm not comparing," I said. "I'm asking why you thought it was okay to hide this from me. If you had asked me, I might have helped. But you just took it. Secretly. That's not family. That's betrayal." He took a step closer, lowering his voice. "Watch your words," he warned. "I am your husband. I have the right to make decisions. If you keep talking like this, I'll think you don't respect me." Respect. He wanted respect without honesty. Without transparency. Without partnership. I felt something break inside me. Kind of quiet, deep disappointment. Didn't explode. Just settled, heavy and cold. In that moment, I realized I didn't recognize him anymore. I went to the bedroom, closed the door, and sat on the edge of the bed. I didn't cry. I just stared at the wall. Finally, I picked up my phone. I opened my banking app. I went back month by month. And what I saw confirmed what my gut already knew. This wasn't the first time. There were multiple withdrawals on days when he visited his mom or helped a friend. Amounts that I never saw come back into our life. Felt sick. My hands started to tremble more. All those times I thought I was bad at managing money. All those nights I stayed awake calculating expenses. The guilt I carried for not contributing enough. 'Twas a lie. They had been using me. I lay down and stared at the ceiling for a long time. And then, like a soft whisper inside my mind, one thought appeared. "Tell Dad." At first I pushed it away. "No, I can't. He'll say, 'I told you so.' He'll be disappointed in me." But the thought kept coming back, clearer each time. "Tell Dad. My father was the one person who never lied to me. He didn't flatter. He didn't sugarcoat. He wasn't perfect, but he was honest. And something deep in my heart knew. If anyone could help me see clearly, and protect me from making even bigger mistakes, it would be him. I took a deep breath and typed a message. Dad, can we talk tomorrow? Just you and me. The next day, I went to my parents' house after work. I didn't tell my husband. I just said I'd be late because of office stuff. I was tired of lying for him, but I needed this space to breathe. My mom greeted me with her usual warm smile, but she sensed something was off. You look pale, she said. Are you eating properly? Is everything okay? I'm fine, Mom, I said softly, forcing a small smile. Is Dad home? She nodded toward the balcony. He's outside drinking tea. Go sit with him. I'll bring something. I went to the balcony and saw my father sitting in his old chair, looking at the sky like he always did when he was thinking. He turned his head, and the second he saw my face, his eyes changed. What happened? He asked simply. No small talk. No delay. He knew. I sat down across from him, and for a moment I couldn't speak. My throat tightened. I swallowed hard. He waited. He always knew how to give space. That was one of the things I loved most about him. Finally I whispered, Dad, can I ask you something? You don't need permission to ask, he replied. You're my daughter. Just say it. I took a deep breath. If a husband takes his wife's salary without telling her, I started slowly, and gives it to his mother saying, we're a family, I don't need to ask you. Is that normal? My father's jaw tightened. His eyes darkened, but he didn't interrupt. And not just once, I continued. It's been happening for months. Every time his mother has some problem, he quietly uses my money. I only found out because she thanked me yesterday for helping her with my salary. I saw his hands grip the armrest of the chair. Did he force you? He asked calmly, but I could hear the anger behind his voice. No, I said. But he never asked. He just decided. And when I confronted him, he made me feel like I'm selfish, like I don't respect him or his mother. My father stayed silent for a moment, then asked one simple question. Do you have access to your own bank account? Yes, I replied. But he has the card sometimes. And I think he knows my PIN. My father let out a long breath. Then he looked at me with eyes full of sadness and something else. Determination. I warned you about this, he said gently. Not because I disliked him, because I saw how he looks at responsibility. He always wanted the easy way. And his mother never taught him limits. I know, I whispered. I should have listened. He shook his head. This is not about I told you so, he said. This is about what you will do now. His voice became firmer. Listen to me carefully. What he did is not love. It is not partnership. It is financial control. Today it's your salary. Tomorrow it could be your savings. A house. Your future. I felt a chill run through my body. I don't want a divorce, I said quickly, my voice trembling. I want him to stop. I want him to respect me. Is that too much to ask? My father looked at me with so much love that my eyes filled with tears. Wanting respect is never too much, he said quietly. The question is he capable of giving it? I didn't know how to answer. He leaned forward. Okay, he said. We won't rush. We'll be smart. But you must promise me something. What? That from today. He paused, making sure I was listening. You will not leave your money within his reach. And you will not let them shame you for protecting what you earn. I nodded slowly. And one more thing, he added. Do not confront them alone anymore. If they see you as weak, they will push harder. Let them see that you are not alone. There was something in his tone that made me realize he already had a plan forming in his mind. Quiet plan. Not noisy, not dramatic, but powerful. My father was never loud, never aggressive. But when someone hurt his family, his mind became sharper than any knife. I wiped my tears. Dad, what are you going to do? He looked back at the sky. Nothing yet, he said. First we observe. Then we move. I didn't fully understand. But I trusted him. That day after I left my parents' house, I felt different. Still hurt. Still betrayed. But not alone anymore. And that changed everything. After that conversation, I started to pay attention to every detail around me. I changed my banking password. I requested a new card. I stopped giving my husband excuses like, "I forgot my purse, can you withdraw for me?" I forced myself to be more careful, even when I was tired. Of course he noticed. One evening he asked, "Why did you change your card? The old one was fine." I smiled lightly. "The bank updated it," I replied. "Security reasons." He frowned but said nothing. I could see the frustration behind his eyes. Something small, invisible, but real had shifted between us. Power. The next month, I received my salary and kept it untouched for a few days. Waited. Sure enough, his mother called him the same week. I heard part of the conversation from the kitchen. "What do you mean you don't have it?" she snapped. "She got paid already, no? What kind of wife doesn't help her husband's mother?" I froze, standing there with a spoon in my hand, listening to them talk about my salary like it was some regular family asset they had access to. "I'll talk to her," he said, lowering his voice. "She's acting strange lately. I think her father is filling her head." My father. He always became the villain in their stories whenever I set a boundary. That evening, my husband decided to talk. He sat on the couch with that serious expression he liked to use whenever he wanted to sound mature and reasonable. "Listen," he began. "I know you changed your card because of your father. He likes to control everything. But this is our life, not his." "I changed it because of you," I replied calmly. He blinked. "What?" "Yes," I said. "Because you took my salary without asking, remember? I don't want that to happen again." He sighed heavily. "You're still stuck on that," he complained. "It's been a month. My mother was in a difficult situation. Why can't you let it go?" "Because it wasn't just once," I replied. I checked. "You've been using my money secretly for months." His face hardened. "So now you're spying on me?" "No," I said. "I'm looking at my own account." He stood up, pacing the room. "Do you want my mother to end up on the street?" he snapped. "Is that what your father taught you? To be cold and heartless?" That hit a nerve. "Put the spoon down." "My father taught me that a husband should protect his wife, not rob her," I answered firmly. "And if your mother needs help, we can talk about it as a couple. You don't get to make decisions with money I earned without even informing me." For a split second I thought he might actually apologize. There was a flicker of something in his eyes. Shame. Realization. But it disappeared quickly. "You know what your problem is," he said. "You think you're better than everyone because you have a job. You think your father is some kind of hero. But let me tell you something. If I leave, no one will want you with that attitude." There it was. The threat. The manipulation stripped naked. "If you leave," I said quietly, "then at least I'll be free from being treated like an ATM." He stared at me, shocked. He clearly didn't expect that answer. We slept in the same bed that night, but it felt like there was a wall between us. No words. No warmth. Just silence. Few days later my father called me. "Come this Sunday," he said. "And bring your husband. I want to talk to both of you." My heart skipped a beat. "What are you planning, Dad?" I asked. "Nothing bad," he replied. "Just clarity." Clarity. Sounded simple. But I knew, deep down, that this Sunday would not be just another visit. This would be a turning point. Sunday came. I was nervous the whole morning. My husband was strangely confident. He fixed his hair, put on his best shirt and smirked. "Maybe your father wants to apologize," he joked. "For brainwashing you." I said nothing. I just grabbed my bag and we left. When we arrived at my parents' house, something felt different. The atmosphere was calm but serious. The television was off. The table was already set with tea and some pastries, but no one touched anything. My father was sitting at the table with a folder in front of him. My husband didn't notice the folder at first. He smiled, greeted my parents, and sat down. My father nodded politely. "Thank you for coming," he said. "We needed to have this conversation face to face." My husband leaned back in his chair, trying to look relaxed. "What's the problem?" he asked. "Did she complain about me again?" I winced at the disrespectful tone, but my father didn't react emotionally. His face remained calm, but his eyes were sharp. "I don't like the word complain," my father said. "My daughter shared something painful with me. As her father, I have the right and the duty to respond." He opened the folder slowly, like it was no big deal. Inside were printed bank statements. My bank statements. Highlighted. Marked. My husband's posture shifted. "What is this?" he asked. "These," my father said calmly, "are records of the money taken from my daughter's account in the last year. Many of these withdrawals happened on days you visited your mother, or days you said you were paying shared bills." He paused. "I also have records of the actual rent and utilities. The numbers don't match." My husband chuckled nervously. "So what, you're spying on us now?" "No," my father said, his voice steady. "I'm protecting my daughter. Something you should have been doing instead of secretly handing her salary to your mother." The room went quiet. My mother looked down, her eyes full of hurt. My husband shifted again, trying to regain control. "You don't understand how families work," he said. "My mother needed help. I am her son. I'm responsible for her." "And my daughter?" my father asked softly. "Are you responsible for her too?" My husband opened his mouth but couldn't speak. My father continued. "Nobody is questioning your desire to help your mother. The problem is not that you helped. The problem is how you did it, by taking what does not belong to you alone. By hiding it. By gaslighting her when she asked." He looked straight into my husband's eyes. "That is not care. That is manipulation." My husband's face turned red. "This is between me and my wife," he said, raising his voice. "You have no right to interfere." "You're right," my father replied. "Normally I wouldn't. But you made it my business the moment you started using what she earned while treating her like a child who doesn't deserve explanations." He slid one more paper across the table. "I spoke with a lawyer," he said. My heart stopped. I hadn't known about this part. My husband's eyes widened. "A lawyer," he repeated. "For what?" "For information," my father replied. "To understand what my daughter's rights are. Financially. Legally. In case she decides she no longer wants to be married to a man who uses her money behind her back." The silence was heavy now. "Make no mistake," my father continued. "We are not here to threaten you. We are here to clarify the situation." He folded his hands. "So here is what will happen from now on." My husband swallowed hard. "First," my father said, "you will no longer have access to her account, her card, or her salary. She will decide as an adult where her money goes. Second, if your mother needs help, you will discuss it openly with her, before any money moves. No more secrets. No more lies. Third, if I hear again that you made her feel guilty or selfish for protecting what she earns, I will personally assist her in filing for separation and any necessary legal action regarding financial abuse." My heart pounded in my chest. I knew my father was serious. He never used big words he didn't mean. My husband looked at me, shocked. "You talked to a lawyer behind my back," he said to me, hurt and angry. "I didn't," I replied honestly. "He did. Because he cares more about my future than you seem to." He stood up suddenly. "This is ridiculous," he said. "You're all acting like I stole from her. We're married. Everything is shared." My father's eyes narrowed just a little. "Shared," he repeated. "Shared means agreed, not secretly taken. If you can't see the difference, then maybe you're not ready for marriage." The words hit him like a slap, without a single hand being raised. He looked at me again, expecting me to defend him. I didn't. For the first time in a long time, I stood silently on my own side. He grabbed his jacket. "Fine," he said. "If you all think I'm the villain, then maybe I should just leave." My father spoke gently. "That is your choice," he said. "But if you stay, it will be as a partner, not as a controller." My husband hesitated at the door, looking torn between pride and fear. Then he left. The door closed behind him with a final, heavy sound. My knees felt weak. I looked at my father, tears finally spilling over. "I didn't know you talked to a lawyer," I whispered. "I hoped I wouldn't need to use that information," he replied softly. "But sometimes, the only way to destroy an unfair plan is to show people that you are not afraid to walk away from it." That was my father's move. Silent, strategic, and devastating to their carefully built control. The days after that confrontation were strange. My husband moved back home after 2 nights at his mother's place. He came in quiet, without announcing himself. He sat on the edge of the bed and just stared at the floor. "I didn't want it to go this far," he said softly. "Neither did I replied. He rubbed his face. "My mother is furious," he continued. "She says your father humiliated me. She thinks he wants to break our marriage." Took a breath. "My father doesn't want to break anything," I said. "He wants to protect me. That's what real fathers do." He flinched. "You think I don't want to protect you?" he asked. "Do you?" asked gently. "Because lately, you've been protecting your mother's comfort more than my dignity." He didn't respond. For a while we just sat there in silence. Then I said something I had been afraid to say before. "Listen, I'm willing to try again. But only if we change how we handle things. No more secrets. No more using my money without asking. And you must tell your mother that my salary is not hers. It's not a family donation. It's mine, and I choose how to use it." He stared at me like I had asked him to move a mountain. "You want me to tell her that?" he whispered. "Yes," I replied. "Because she thinks she has a right to it. And she doesn't." He looked away, struggling inside himself. This was not about money anymore. It was about loyalty. In his world, saying no to his mother meant betrayal. In mine, staying silent meant betraying myself. Few days later I got my answer. His mother called me directly. "So," she began, her voice cold and sharp, "your father has turned you against us, I see." "No," I said calmly. "My father has reminded me to respect myself." She scoffed. "Respect," she repeated. "You think you're the only woman who works. In my time, women didn't talk about my money and my rights. They just supported their husbands and their families. And how did those women feel?" I asked quietly. "Did anyone ever support them?" She paused for a second, then quickly recovered. "You're ungrateful," she said. "After everything we did for you." "You didn't do it for me," I replied. "You did it for your son. And that's fine. But stop pretending that taking my salary secretly is some kind of family love. It's not." She hissed into the phone. "You will regret this attitude," she said. "One day you'll be alone, and your precious rights won't comfort you." I smiled sadly. "I'd rather be alone with self-respect," I said, "than surrounded by people who only see value in what I earn." And then, for the first time since I married into that family, I ended the call myself. I felt like I had just cut an invisible rope that had been tightening around my throat for years. That evening, my husband came home with a different expression. "You talked to my mother," he said. "Yes," I replied. He sat down. "She says you disrespected her." "I didn't insult her," I said calmly. "I just told her the truth. My salary is not hers. And from now on, if we help her, we do it together. With my consent, not behind my back." He looked at me for a long moment. "You've changed," he finally said. "No," I replied. "I've finally returned to who I was before you made me doubt myself." He swallowed. "And what if I can't accept these new rules?" he asked. "Then," I said quietly, "we may need to go our separate ways." I won't stay in a marriage where my trust is negotiable. The word hung in the air. Separate. He stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time. And in that moment I realized. My father hadn't just destroyed their financial plan. He had shattered the illusion that they could control me forever. What happened next was not quick. There were more arguments, more tears, nights spent in separate rooms, days with no words between us. We tried couples counseling once. He quit after one session. Strangers don't get to judge my family, he said. But slowly reality did the judging. Without easy access to my salary, his mother's emergencies became less dramatic. He had to start using his own money to help her. He had to grow up. And he didn't like it. Several months later, after a particularly ugly fight where he called me cold, spoiled, and ungrateful, I packed a small bag and went to my parents' house again. "Is this it?" my mother whispered, hugging me. "I don't know," I said. "But I can't live like that anymore." My father looked at me with sad but steady eyes. "You're not running away," he said. "You're stepping out of a trap." A week later, my husband came to my parents' house. Not shouting, not demanding, just defeated. He sat across from my father again. I don't want to lose her," he said. My father looked at him quietly. "Then change," he answered simply. "Not for me. Not even for her. Change because the man you are right now is not someone you would be proud of if you saw him from the outside." That was the real turning point. Not the lawyer. Not the printed bank statements. Not the threats of separation. It was the moment my husband finally saw himself, clearly, and didn't like what he saw. Did he become perfect after that? No. But he started doing something he had never done before. He listened. It's been a while since everything happened. Sometimes I look back and it feels like a movie I once watched about someone else's life. But it was mine. Every tear. Every argument. Every quiet moment of strength. We didn't divorce. We also didn't magically become the perfect couple in 3 months. What we did was harder. We rebuilt the marriage from the ground up, with conditions. Not romantic conditions. Real practical ones. We opened a joint account together for shared expenses only. Rent, bills, groceries. We both put a fixed amount there every month. The rest of our money stays in separate personal accounts. Not because we don't trust each other, but because we respect each other's independence. If his mother needs help now, we talk about it. Sometimes we help. Sometimes we don't if it puts us in a difficult position. But whatever we do, we decide it together. He apologized one evening, quietly, without drama. "I didn't realize how much I was hurting you," he said. "I thought I was being a good son. I didn't see that I was being a bad husband at the same time." I looked at him for a long moment before answering. "You weren't just a bad husband," I said gently. "You were unfair. You made me feel crazy for asking basic questions. That was the worst part." He nodded, tears in his eyes. "I know," he whispered. "I won't do it again." Trust doesn't rebuild overnight. There are still days when I feel a small stab of anxiety when money is involved. But now, instead of staying silent, I speak. "I don't like this," I say. "This feels unfair. I want to understand where this money is going." And you know what? He doesn't call me selfish anymore for asking. His relationship with his mother also changed. Not because I demanded it. Because life forced him to see the truth. She was used to having unlimited access to him and his resources, at the cost of his own family. He still visits her. He still helps sometimes. But he no longer hands over everything just because she says, "Family." Because now he understands. Family is not just where you come from. It's also what you are building. I learned too. I learned that silence protects no one. That pretending everything is fine only feeds the people who benefit from your pain. I learned that my father was not trying to control my marriage when he intervened. He was doing what loving parents do when they see their child drowning with a smile on their face. He pulled me out. He showed me the water. He reminded me that I know how to swim. His move, going to the lawyer, printing those statements, speaking calmly but firmly, destroyed their plan in the most powerful way. Without shouting, without insults, without revenge in the dramatic sense. He didn't ruin their lives. He ruined their illusion that they could use me forever. And that was enough. If you're listening to this story and you see yourself in me, if you feel that cold twist in your stomach when someone says, "We're family, we don't need to ask," then hear me clearly. Love without respect is just emotional debt. And emotional debt usually comes with financial debt too. A partner who hides things from you for your own good, or for the sake of family, is not protecting you. They're protecting their comfort, their control, their image. You are not greedy because you want to know where your money goes. You are not selfish because you want transparency. You are not cold because you say, "Ask me first." Those are basic things. Basic respect. Basic partnership. If someone makes you feel guilty for asking to be included in decisions about what you earned, take a step back and ask yourself, is this really love? Or is it just a system where I work, and they benefit? And if you are lucky enough to have parents, friends, or anyone who sees your pain and says, "This is not okay, you deserve better," do not shut them out just because you're ashamed. I was afraid my father would judge me. Instead, he stood beside me when I needed it most. He didn't scream. He didn't insult my husband. He just brought truth into a room full of excuses. Sometimes the strongest revenge is not to hurt the people who hurt you, but to take away the tools they used to hurt you with. In my case, that tool was my silence, my confusion, my automatic yes whenever they said family. Now my yes means something, because it can also be no. My husband's mother still doesn't like me much. Maybe she never will. But that's okay. I wasn't born to be a wallet for anyone's comfort. I was born to live my own life, build my own future, and share it with people who see me as a person, not as an income source. So if you remember nothing else from my story, remember this. They can only run their plan as long as you don't know there is one. The moment you open your eyes, the moment you demand clarity, the moment you say, "This is my life, and I deserve to be part of every decision about it," their plan starts to crack. And if you have someone like my dad in your corner, someone who quietly brings truth to the table, then their plan doesn't just crack, collapses completely. That's what happened to my husband and his mother when they played with my salary. They thought I was alone. They forgot who raised me.